Hey, what's up, Geekscapists? Welcome to a brand new Geekscape episode. I'm Jonathan London, and if this is your first Geekscape, we're going to be talking pop culture, movies, video games, comic books. This is what I like to do. I've been doing it for quite some time. My little podcast that then turned into a website in a community, and then turned into a podcast network, and then we started producing content in other areas, and now Geekscape is just kind of a thing. But you're a part of it, and welcome. Whether this is your first Geekscape or you're a longtime Geekscapist, I love having you here, and I love sharing things with you and communicating with you and kind of using this community as a way, especially in a time like this, to be like, hey, are we doing okay? Am I doing okay? I know I'm quarantined, and now they have curfews starting in Los Angeles. Today's curfew started at 5 o'clock. So you have to check and be like, hey, what's going on? Is my human experience the same as your human experience? Stuff's getting really weird. And up to this point, us pop culture aficionados really only have like sci-fi and action movies to relate to. And so we wonder whether or not our bearings are trustworthy. I remember living in New York during 9/11, and I remember that day very clearly. But even more so, I remember the next morning and everybody saying it was like a movie. How many people who lived through 9/11 and remember it, whether or not you were in New York or Washington or any of the places affected by 9/11 directly or indirectly, how many of you heard that it felt like a movie? It made me feel like I was in a movie. What does that say about us? And maybe about our media consumption, or maybe our disconnection, or our connection to art, that our frame of reference is, it just felt like I was in a movie. And now we're living through a quarantine, a pandemic, the threat of martial law. A lot of these riots and protests are going on in Los Angeles, just over the hill from where I am right now in the Dweeb Darling studio. This is Heidi's bedroom. And I'm calling my friends in Santa Monica and Hollywood, and I'm seeing how they're doing. These are peaceful protests that, whether or not you want to believe the news or not, who knows who you're going to believe. There are so many voices going on in this time, in these situations. Are there outside instigators? Are there different agendas at play? Are the protesters to blame for the violence and the looting? Or is this fabricated? Are there people who are coming in and planting burned cop cars or pre-destroyed cop cars? Or are there other people spray painting and vandalizing the buildings and then spray painting BLM on the side in order to make the Black Lives Movement look discredited? I've seen videos of all of it. I will say this, that protesting and expressing our voices is American. Destroying and looting, not so much. Not only that, I think that it fuels the fire for tools to be used against us. And now you have this threat of our governors being tougher on us, as the president's demanding the governors to be. Today he's talking about instituting some form of martial law in cities that don't toughen up enough. By whose standard? I don't know, but feels like a movie, you might be able to say. Our frame of reference is, wow, I've only seen this in a movie. But if anything, that's our privilege living in the United States. Other countries, they deal with this a lot. Other countries deal with the curfews. A lot of war-ravaged countries, which, damn, I guess the United States is partially responsible for in a lot of ways. They deal with things like curfews and quarantines and unstable health services, and maybe not being able to just go to the grocery store and buy what they need. To them, it's not like a movie. It's just like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday. And it's terrible because at the end of this, people are dying. And no matter who's looting, who's vandalizing, what physical things are destroyed, insured or not insured, people's lives are being lost. And I have a platform. It's not the biggest platform in the world, but there's several thousand people. And it would be irresponsible for me to just come on here and talk about movies and video games and comics. And I had a conversation with Matt Kelly today, who runs our podcast network. And I got to tell you, I love having a podcast network. I grew up loving all the broadcasters. David Letterman was a hero. Then remember Talk Soup, Greg Kinnear. We've talked about him on the show and how much I loved him. And then getting into like when I had to drive packages around in Hollywood and listen to things like Howard Stern. Became a big fan and just loved the idea of broadcasting. But what's the point of sharing all these stories when you lose context for where you are with each other? And what's the point of having a platform if you're not going to use it for good? So at the end of the day, let's talk. Let's talk about whether or not we need police reform. I'm of the opinion that we definitely effing do. What do we do about the fact that the U.S., which I've talked about as a major destabilizer in a lot of the world, has some instability itself built on the hundreds of years of racism that it was built on. A friend of mine said, well, we can, we were out this morning and he said, we've never really paid back the fact that our country was built on slavery. And the fact that we had Japanese internment camps in World War II and just racist act after racist act that has helped America secure its place in the world as the richest and biggest militaristic country in the world, and I'm like, hey, we live in California. California is like the biggest, like fourth largest economy, and just California, and they're building its backs on migrant illegal workers. We're not paying those people living wages. We're paying them less than minimum wage. They're undocumented, and they pay taxes when they go and buy something, or various forms of taxes, but they're not citizens. How's that not slave labor at some point? When do we have to come correct on that kind of thing and say, okay, wait, the most economically successful state in the Union and the richest country in the world, one of the biggest economies in the world, California, is got a form of slave labor in these migrant workers in the fields. And there's just so much going on that I want to talk about. Do I then go and talk about science fiction and movies and comic books? Well, I talked to Matt Kelly this morning and we discussed this, and he said, hey, we're not going to shy away from it, but we're also not going to keep the Geekscapists who've been with us well over a decade at this point from getting their entertainment. So I just want to open it up to you guys. We're going to have these conversations a lot in the next coming weeks and months as we figure out whether or not we're going to have a world anymore. It's kind of like a movie. So the comments are open. I've got my good friend Brian Klemm coming up. He's from the band Suburban Legends. They've been on the show before. I love the Suburban Legends so much. If you guys remember my first podcast, Geek Drome, Brian did the theme song. He and Vince Walker of the Suburban Legends just did the theme song for the Super Action Man cartoon I'm developing. Hopefully it happens. Hopefully you guys can see it. Hopefully I can express all my like really layman, miseducated political views into the cartoon, and then you guys don't have to hear them here on Geekscape. But ultimately, Geekscape's yours as much as it is mine. George Callert and I just keep the lights on, but this is your platform as much as I see it as mine. So if you want to write something for the website, write something for the website. If you want to start a podcast, come start a podcast. If you want to do any kind of art and express yourself, this is what I built it for. It is why we keep it moving as a place for you, my geeks, to have an expansive voice with each other and with the world. And that is what it's for. And this little podcast is just kind of mine. All right. Should there be political music playing in the background? I don't know how to do this, but that was my little monologue. I just kind of improvised it, but I meant it. Let me get to a few comments that I see have sprung up in the comments, and then I'm going to bring Brian on. I can see him in the wings reading a comic, and I'm not even going to introduce him when he shows up. We're just going to drop him in here, and hopefully we catch him reading a comic. I love this guy so much, and I hope you guys do too if you're not familiar with Brian. Okay, comments real quick. Let's see what we got here going on. Omar Calderon, who's a longtime Geekscapist from the beginning, OG, says, it did not feel like a movie to me. Remember when video proof was enough to prove some kind of evidence? Now, I don't know what he's talking about, but we're talking. But he says, perhaps it feels like a movie because the situations feel contrived or man-made, inorganic, planned. And yeah, Omar, like, I'm seeing, people who are not protesters, who are not black, and they are spray painting BLM on the side of the Starbucks at the Grove and getting caught red-handed doing it. I'm with you. I feels like we're being kind of instigated towards a police state. And who knows? I just know that every single one of you guys should be registered to vote. It's the least we can do to keep some stability back in our country and cap some little tiny piece of power for ourselves is to vote and make sure that our voices are protected, because they're going to keep trying to take it from us. So we got to stay active in the protection of our voices for ourselves and each other. Okay, so like if all we can do is vote, then we can't let them take it away from us, no matter what. Okay. To which Daniel Campazano, that is Big Yanks in Long Island, he's going to throw that up and echo it by saying, please vote in your local elections. Change, it starts from the bottom up. And I can't express that enough. We're really focusing on Trump and this and that and cowering in the White House bunker. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. But Daniel's got a big point in saying that the whole ballot is open for us. And we got to think about the ballot from top to bottom. If you're just thinking about things like third party people because let's say you're not a big fan of the Democrats, the Republicans, like, yeah, look down ticket for your solutions and find some of the independents that are trying to work on their local solutions or they're working on their state solutions. Like, the whole ticket is open for you guys. And maybe if you could empower some of these independent parties at a lower local level, then they can engender the kind of goodwill that will make them effective on a much bigger level later on. But you got to look at the entire ticket, like Daniel says. Go for the local elections, go bottom up, look at the whole thing, and just, again, like your tool is your vote, your tool is also your education. So just keep it going. Letitia says, Greg Kinnear was awesome. Greg Kinnear is still awesome. I'm a big Greg Kinnear fan. And he was like the guy who I'd like look in the mirror and try and do his talk soup facial impersonations. So thank you, Letitia, for the shout out on Greg Kinnear. I mean, I'd love to have him on the show. Greg Kinnear, I'd be like, hey, dude, you're awesome. And thank you for that time on Talk Soup. Letitia also says, Brian Klemm is my secret celebrity crush. So I just threw that out and it's no longer a secret. Enjoy that. Brian's coming up. And then Mike Templeton says, Brian Klemm is actually a kitten and will purr if you pet him. Well, in the age of social distancing, and now that I'm doing these live streams on Geekscape, I can't pet him, but I have. And I got to say, I agree with you there, Mike. Daniel's bringing it back home, and he says, also shout out to all the Geekscapists living in the thick of it. Stay safe, my friends. You too, Daniel. I love you, man, so much. And then Omar Calderon says, I love the Geek Drum theme song. So do I. I love the Geek Drum theme song. Brian's responsible for it. And then Letitia's back on Facebook saying, as a parent, it's our responsibility to tell our children the importance of voting. Yes, Geekscapists, and as I see myself as a father to all of you, my Geekscapists, it's our responsibility to vote. Let's go. Let's change the system however you want it changed, and as to the full extent to which you can change it. Let's go. And then Rick goes back on the YouTube and he says, I remember you talking about the Messiah Complex story when Nightcrawler took a shotgun blast to the guts and it splattered his blood in the snow. It made me buy those comics. More stuff like this. Okay, we can talk comics, brother. I love it. Let's talk comics. All right, here we go. Brian can read his comments before I bring them up on screen. So if you have anything secret to tell Brian, like, we can throw it up here on the screen, or we cannot, but leave them in the comments. We'll be reading some more comments throughout. Okay, Brian, what are you reading over there, buddy? How you doing?
I'm on. Hi. Is this
I'd surprise you. Maybe. You know what? Brian, is this ever on? Is this ever on?
Hold on. I have to pause the Roku. All right. I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait. Oh, hello. I didn't notice you guys there. How are you?
Brian, where are you, man?
What am I?
Hey, do you like my Spider-Man Universal Studios Hollywood?
But what does it say? It says Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh, that's right, because Spider-Man.
Yeah. Back in the day,
Marvel
Universal.
Does Disney own it?
Yeah, Disney owns Marvel, but there's still Universal Islands of Adventure in Orlando. But back in the day, back in the day, there used to be a Marvel-themed restaurant at Universal Studios Hollywood. And I have the menus from the place, and I have this from the place.
Do you think it would be like that one in what was it? What was it? Kingdom Come? Or is it Kingdom Fudge? Where they had like a Justice League themed restaurant, and everybody dressed like, oh, Aquaman will take your order.
And Kingdom Come, like later on, I don't think it was Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come was pretty gritty and gross.
I think that was Magog. I think it was called Kingdom. It was right after Kingdom Come, Magog, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we can talk some DC if you want. All I know is that this restaurant was in Universal Studios Hollywood. It was Marvel themed. It was in the theme park, and they had all the characters. And then it was basically like Planet Hollywood with but instead of like Sylvester Stallone and the Terminator, you ended up with like Marvel characters, and it wasn't very good, but that's what's going on there.
That still sounds awesome. I don't know. I'd buy a $10 beer from there.
How you doing, brother? I'm
good.
We're just kind of hanging, and I'm kind of using Geekscape to like catch up with my friends, and I was like, and you and I started talking on the Krista Makes podcast page. If you guys are fans of Suburban Legends, you're probably fans of Less Than Jake. Krista Makes from Less Than Jake.
I've never heard of him.
Previous Geekscape guest, he was my guest back in January. We were talking. You and I were talking on his page, and you and I are coming on the show. And not only are you on Geekscape, I think you and Chris Fafalios from Punchline, who does a show on our network, you should come on his show and do a One Hit Thunder episode. It's a.
I would absolutely love to,
dude,
but I think I have.
It's a great episode
because didn't he do the Geekscape theme song now?
Yes, you did the Geek Drum theme song. He did the Geekscape theme song.
When you were doing your Conan O'Brien monologue, you said I did one theme song. I did two. I did Geek Drum and Geekscape.
Wait, when did you do the Geekscape theme song?
I did Geek Drum, and then I did a second one after that. It was like in the very early stages of Geekscape.
Oh, so we used.
I'm old school. Right? Yeah.
I think that beef got settled, pal. I think
we used the better one. That's right.
I think that beef got settled. But you know what? Your Super Action Man theme song kicks ass, and thank you for that. I hope to unleash that on the world. So, how are you doing?
Can I just do it?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you want.
Oh my god. Okay, so when did you give me the Super Action Man comic? I think it was at WonderCon or something.
Super Action Man.
I was wearing a booster.
Yeah, that would have been 2011 or 12.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Hold on, I got to figure out how to
stabilize it.
I'm gonna use a comic. I'm gonna use a comic to prop up my iPad because I'm not.
Yo, Brian, your video can be destabilized. Just know that my brain is destabilized, so it's inconsistent. It's consistently destabilized across the board. Just
okay.
Stabilization, as we know it after this last week, stability is an illusion, brother.
All right, cool. So is dry land.
Dry land is a myth.
I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Big fan. So I think at 2000, I was at WonderCon. You gave me your sample of Super Action Man.
Yeah, I gave you a copy.
And I got on the shitty little. Can I swear?
Yeah, it's the internet.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know about the internet. I just
give us another 20 minutes, and we're gonna be doing nudity.
I have 3 more hours left on my AOL list that says I have 33 hours. So I'm figuring it all out. You gave me a free comic, and I remember on the shuttle laughing out loud reading it. I was like, why is he saying the exact comedy that I want to hear, and I'm laughing out loud to it because he has the guts to do it, and it was so good. I'm just so stoked about it. I want to see that made.
Well, you guys did the theme song. You and Vince did the theme song. I love the theme song to death, and I've been working on storyboards and working on all sorts of stuff. So hopefully we get a cartoon because, as you guys learned in last week's episode with Tasha Halevi and Sean Gunn, cartoons are the only things that are going on in Hollywood right now, and we're completely unemployed otherwise. So if you guys are Guardians of the Galaxy fans, and Sean Gunn, who's our Rocket Raccoon, and he plays one of the Ravagers, those dudes. He was on the episode last week, and all that. But I love you guys, and if you flipped the old Super Action Man comic book over, as Daniel Campuzano did, the Loudmouth comic was hilarious. That one feels like one that I didn't crack quite yet, character-wise, Daniel. But I hear Sam in my voice, especially now that DC's on fire and our country is being our country's on fire. I just hear Super Action Man in our voice, like running color commentary on everything that's happening in our nation.
You know what's funny? It's funny. We live in a world where we need heroes, right?
Right.
And we need, because I think that Marvel is the epitome of have the moral barometer of go towards the things that are doing bad, and save everybody.
The fire, yeah. Run towards the into the fire, burning building. Yeah,
but in this time of crisis, I think all I can do is run towards DC, because I need to escape with a thinker comic that makes my mind think and escape what's going on.
Yeah, I mean,
does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what you're arguing is that like the Marvel characters are more grounded, but we do have Thor, and we do have like what I said, the Guardians of the Galaxy. We do have some strange, weird characters, but DC does come more out of that 1930s, 1940s era of Superman, Wonder Woman, and they weren't using Earth cities; they were using like Metropolis and Gotham. But this morning, I was talking to a buddy of mine. And my brother Paul and I share these videos back and forth of like the different riots.
I'm a wrestling fan, so say his full name.
Paul London, former WWE Tag Team Champion and Cruiserweight Champion, Paul London. So Paul and I, we have this habit of like exchanging videos to each other of like shit that's going on in the riots. Have you seen the dude in Salt Lake City who thought he was Hawkeye, who was like trying to knock his bow in? Okay, like,
I'm not laughing at
I don't like laughing about this shit, but in a way, kind of fuck this guy, because people found out who he was because he got arrested, and they found his Facebook, and his Facebook was just a bunch of like psycho, anti-deep state, whack job stuff, and so the video coming out of Salt Lake City that had a pretty rough weekend was that the guy was instigating violence. This older white dude. He reminded me of Wilford Brimley from Hard Target.
Diabetes.
So there's video of this bastard getting out of his truck or his car with a machete, and he's just trying to take on protesters. And these are people walking around with like Black Lives Matter signs and like, don't kill innocent people signs. And he's walking around with a machete trying to instigate violence. Later on, there's a video of this dude, which proves why Hawkeye is like not a good Avenger. All right,
he's like the worst Punisher ever.
He just I mean, he's got a better moral code than the Punisher. The Punisher is kind of like crazy.
Dude, I don't know if he's getting out of the car with a machete for people that say Black Lives Matter. I can't wait to get to put them on my level.
So Brian, I'm texting you this video. This old dude with like a goatee and a big ponytail. He's taking like 5 minutes trying to knock an arrow by his car into like a fucking compound bow. And the woman videotaping him is like, you better not. And she asks him, she's like, do you consider yourself American? And he goes, yeah, I'm American. And all lives matter. And then he finally successfully knocks an arrow.
Watch me as I kill all lives.
Yeah, people are running past the car. He knocks the arrow. He tries to fling it at somebody. The person falls down behind like a U-Haul flatbed. You don't see where he goes, but you hear off screen, "Fuck him up!" And he is rushed and like buried by a bunch of people. It just disappears. He gets totally fucked up. And then there's a clip later on of his car turned over and on fire. So that's basically.
Wait, retract, because I feel bad about laughing when you bet. Fuck him up.
This dude just goes.
Is that person okay that fell down?
I don't know, but I know that
I need to know.
I know old man Hawkeye wasn't, and that dude was running around trying to shoot people. But all I could think was, there's no fucking way that Hawkeye would hit any of the Chitauri in the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie. Like they're zooming around.
I'll teach you guys not to include me in the next movie. I'll show you.
Ultimately, Hawkeye, like he clearly has to have some level of superpowers to be able to hit shit like at that frequency and with that like.
His superpowers
aptitude.
Animosity because nobody likes him.
I was like, dude,
get him out of the movie. We didn't notice he was gone.
Hawkeye would be done in 2 seconds flat.
He was awesome. He was awesome in the Ultimates, but other than that, no, we don't need a Hawkeye.
We don't need Hawkeye.
But he was great in the Ultimates.
I think Hawkeye's like Hawkeye's like a pretty good like emotional sounding board for like Natasha, for like that maybe, but this guy got fucked up. The other superhero themed video that I saw coming out of a protest was a dude in full Christian Bale battle armor bat suit. He was wandering through the crowd. Brian, he wasn't saying anything, but there was like smoke everywhere.
Oh, that's not as fun.
No, he was.
Did he have smoke bombs?
He was just. This dude was just wandering through the crowd, just staring people down as Batman. And my buddy this morning was like, yeah, like I feel like heroes would be trying to stop this and this and that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Batman would have a tank. Batman is the most Trump superhero there is. He's a dude that embezzles from his own company, right? Like
how else is he gonna?
Batman,
tank ever, best tank ever. It'll be a bigger tank.
Batman has Wayne Enterprises. He takes the fucking money from Wayne Enterprises, has Lucius smuggle him a bunch of like tanks to build, so he can punch a bunch of clowns in the face running around trying to start anarchy. Like that is the police state. Superman, on the other hand, is like the guy who's like, hey, I'm like the police officer on the corner. I'm gonna get your cat out of the tree. The Punisher's the dude who was a cop at one point.
I'll just shoot the cat and be done with it.
The Punisher, the cat didn't do anything wrong, but these cops, the cops would be like, hey, man.
Oh, dude, he would
kill all these cops. He would kill all these crooked cops. All of them. The Punisher would clear it out. So, that's my barometer. After monologuing about how it's like a movie, now we're like, yeah, it's kind of like a comic book, too. So.
Dude, it's totally like a comic book. It's like a Crisis on Infinite Earth, but it's here.
Yeah,
all these people from different planets come. It totally is.
Yeah, there's a lot. They wanted America to be the melting pot. I don't think they envisioned it to be this violent, but it was founded on violence. I mean, I don't think the Native Americans.
How do you think everybody got everything?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't give it to me, I'll take it.
Yeah, I was talking about the reparations and everything earlier in the broadcast and how this was built on slavery. Like, let's not forget. Dude, I
heard about that.
Let's not forget our First Nations. Because that's a fucked up situation. Mike Templeton on Facebook says,
I know that guy.
Speaking of, sure would be nice if cops idolized Captain America instead of the Punisher. Yeah, can't agree with you more. Like, what happened to the good old red, white, and blue? Talking about, Superman, the American way, truth, justice, and the American way. Kate Eglin says,
but hold on, wait. Let me bring a little side note.
Okay, we'll bring that comment up later.
You're talking about why can't more people be, like Superman for the cops? But what was Batman's biggest fear? Superman having too much power. And what if he decides to let go of that power and not do the right thing or listen to anybody else?
A morally corrupted Superman. That's Lex Luthor's fear.
No. But that's like Batman's biggest fear. That's what Batman's always on, trying to get one step ahead of Superman, because Superman has all this power. But what if one day he decides to, misuse that power or just snaps his fires and he does the wrong thing that he wants to do?
Like in the Injustice video game.
I don't.
Well, it's basically like
nerds.
It's basically like it starts off. Well, they had to figure out how to like the DC characters fight each other, and like the Joker kills Lois, and like Superman snaps and just starts fighting everybody, and they had to take Superman down, and they start fighting amongst themselves. What I was going to mention was when Batman fucked up the Tower of Babel storyline. I think it was called the Tower of Babel storyline, where the bad guys hacked the Bat computer in the basement and found out they found out that Batman had files on all the Justice League and had to take them out if they needed to. So they used them. And so they found out like kryptonite is Superman's weakness. Like all stuff.
I was just saying that because it's a cop is like a Superman who has too much power.
I want to say Mark Wade, or I want to say
I love Mark Wade.
I want to say it was Grant Morrison or Mark Wade, but I should have Mark Wade on the show.
It seems like something more Grant Morrison would do because it's a little more fucked up. Mark Wade's a little more, except for Kingdom, but Kingdom Come is one of the first times I cried during a comic book.
What made you cry about that one?
When everybody thinks that, what?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like beyond.
No, it's beautiful. Besides the art, which is just breathtaking the whole time. Alex Ross is just incredible, but the fact it still chokes me up every time when you get that feeling that you've been abandoned. Everything's going to shit. And you think that the one person who can fix it all has abandoned you. And he has for a long period of time after the whole Kansas thing. And then all of a sudden in a flash, he's there. And he's up there and he's got the two criminals in his hand. And he's old Superman is right up there with his gray, and you thought he left you. You know, you've given up all hope. Everything's going to chaos in town, and then just all of a sudden, I don't know. For some reason, it got me like, just Superman's always watching. It's been a long time since I read Kingdom Come, but for some reason, I remember every time I read it, it's still like oh, fucking Superman still, always.
Yeah,
you can always count on him, even though Batman he plants the seed of doubt that what if, like Superman Red Sun or whatever. What if he went to the wrong side or whatever?
What if he went to Russia? Yeah.
But what if he just decided to change his mind and be bad one day, or he didn't want to do the right thing one day, or whatever, or
he was affected by red kryptonite,
or anything,
right.
And but just seeing that it reassures you when you watch 52, when you read 52 or Kingdom Come, which is he's absent. All of a sudden you see like he hasn't forgotten about us.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be okay. He's back.
Superman is like my number 2 behind Spider-Man because of that moral code, and I think that you have to choose heroes based on would they be heroes without their powers, and Clark absolutely.
What are their moral? What's their moral standing?
Yeah, but they all had to deal with some major loss. You know what I mean? And and Batman to me just never really passed the litmus test, because yes, what happened to him was tragic, but the resources that he had at his disposal were huge. And then you got Superman who lost his planet and could literally turn us all into food if he decided to.
That's the thing. At the drop,
he decides not to.
That's the thing. I think that's what Batman has is it's like no one should have that much power without control.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we still put our trust in Superman, and and he still continues to earn it and deserve it,
because he knows that his best power is to inspire us and have us like lead ourselves. Daniel Campuzano said Justice League Tower Babble. It is Mark Wade. Thank you for that fact check there. I should reach out. I've talked to Mark.
As we're talking about Kingdom
briefly.
Come,
I should get him on there. And then Rick though says Kingdom Come is the best Superman versus Cable comic. And I think what I love about the Kingdom Come comic is that it is basically like a jab at Image at the same time. It's like what if the DC stalwart heroes that we loved, like the classic heroes that were like morally good, had retired, and then like the Image Comics characters had all taken over. That's why Magog and all those characters have like giant body armor and stuff. Yeah. They have like football pads and things, because that's what it looks like.
Rob Liefeld drew them.
You know what? Rob is a good dude, and whatever you think of his writing and art, and I did try reading through Prophet.
I didn't say it's bad. No, I'm just saying it's bigger. Bigger.
It's a
hands
choice.
Are bigger.
Okay. Music-wise, Kate Eglin says, "This is so exciting. Rump Shaker was passed around our marching band travel bus when we went to competition. I remember stealing it from my brother, which then led to a lifetime love of ska," which is nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you listen to the first Krista Makes a podcast episode that had John Feldman from Goldfinger on it?
I actually spoke to Chris. She's like it was last week.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, it's all the same day. I spoke to him on the phone last week before it aired. So I've been busy. I haven't got a chance. Did it air yesterday?
It's up now. You should subscribe to it.
Okay.
It's not a Geekscape podcast. I'd love for it to be.
No,
Geekscape
I talked to
podcast.
him about what it's about. It's awesome,
dude.
I totally want to hear it.
If you're a ska fan, the revelations about that first Goldfinger album and all that, it's just awesome. And then it's a great show. And it's what I listened to it, and then I was like, am I just going to talk movies and comics? Because like, obviously we had a pretty rough weekend here in Southern California and anywhere in the country. Yeah. And I was like, what are we doing? And Matt Kelly kind of talked me off the ledge, but here we go.
I think it's good that you're talking about all this stuff. No, I mean, if you want to talk about all the politics and everything, go on Facebook or go on anywhere else in the entire world. You give an outlet to escape for us people that want to talk about the things that we feel like we're too selfish.
Right.
That we shouldn't talk about,
Right.
Like, I shouldn't like the things I like right now because there's so much going on, but when no one's looking, I'm still going to read my comic books. I'm still going to like the things I like, and it's okay.
And dude, comics came back to stores. My comic book store opened last week.
Diamond is back, right?
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Diamond is back. They're
Not only that, my comic book store opened last week. They're only letting 4 people in at a time, but I went in, I got my books. They're distributing books, and I picked up a couple Marvels. I picked up a couple Indies. But sadly, Golden Apple in Hollywood was part of the looting on Saturday and got totally smashed up. I hear Heidi Ho Comics in Santa Monica was left unscathed, but like, damn, people are smashing up comic book stores after comics have
don't you think
almost
that
been
writers
put out of
like,
business.
I would, because I heard that they're doing it on Rodeo Drive. They're going and getting like Gucci bags and stuff. Imagine them walking up like, oh, I could totally get Savage Dragon #5 right now.
I'm going to get that classic Kirby Fantastic Four Volume 3 edition hardback.
I just
somebody running down the street with like a freaking Hellboy statue and just being like, "Yay!" I mean,
I got Youngblood #5 second printing.
Do you remember when the dude? There's a comic book store in Venice, and it used to be on Lincoln. And I remember on the news, a customer came in, and they had to have been a customer because they knew exactly where the goods were. And the goods are the statues. The goods are like those really nice statues.
You're absolutely right.
That's the highest priced stuff in the store.
It's like you go through all these like, oh, there's #1s, but all of a sudden this statue is $230. Like,
dude came in dressed like Spider-Man.
It's a bone.
Dude came in dressed like Spider-Man and just like smashed and grabbed all their statues out of the place and just ran for it. And I was like, that wasn't Spider-Man. Spider-Man wouldn't have done that.
What if he did and said, tell everyone what you saw?
Yeah, tell everyone. He should have been wearing like a Two-Face mask and like flip the coin. And if the coin comes up, not like the unscarred side, he just leaves. But then the scarred side, he just smashes and takes the things and runs away. I don't know.
This riddle and I don't take the
right. What have you been up to, dude? I love that you guys did a no high fives version of high fives for all the guys videos. Of course I saw it. I'm a fan of yours. Remember, I wanted to do a high fives video with you guys like 15 years ago where it was you guys just playing basketball. Do you remember that video? it was after we did the video for Come Back Home.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the song where I had
I vaguely remember you talking about that.
Because remember I did it right after.
No. I did it right after
Reggie the
little kids.
I did it right after Reggie the Full Effect. The Reggie the Full Effect video I did was called Please Come Home. And then you guys had a video called Please Come Home. And I don't remember, but I know I put my dogs in your video. And I pitched you guys on
Nacho
one.
And
it was Hank and Cheese. And I remember
so let me stop. I remember the plot was us against a bunch of little kids
playing basketball. And you guys were high-fiving and stuff. But I don't actually think it was you guys versus a bunch of little kids because I ran it past my producer and he's like, Jonathan, we can't have little kids doing this. So it was going to have you guys in basic's a prison basketball game against.
Oh, we would get destroyed.
Huge. No. You guys rally and you win it. You win it on a 3. Yes. Hence all the high fives.
Oh God. I love my team. We're so good. We just beat the prison guys. Longest yard, just we did it.
How are you guys doing? The band? How's the band doing? How are you doing?
I'm good. It's the summer. It really sucks because you know how bad it is for artists. The summer's a wash.
You guys are usually touring, or at least trying to pick up shows, or doing Disney. You guys are a Disney band, and you can't even play with Disney.
No, those got canceled, and then we had some stuff with Knott's. Everything's it could all come back. It changes week to week with big theme parks. They don't know when they're going to open, and I'm sure their entertainment is the last one to get notified. And we had flyouts and stuff booked, but it sucks. But it is what it is. You can't be angry about it. You can just be sad. I've been lucky enough to. I mean, we all miss that money, and we may have been doing new music.
Whoa! Hey, whoa!
I just coughed. Sorry.
Yeah, but you coughed into the mic.
Oh shoot! Fuck.
There's like blood coming out of my ears. You guys are working on. You guys are working on new music.
We're not done being a band. So there's stuff on the horizon. Can't tell you what or whatever because who knows when I could see them again. I had my birthday 2 weeks ago, and my band, a couple of my bandmates, they drove up in front of my house with balloons waving and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got a parade in front of my house. So I'm doing construction right now. I got a 2-year-old, so you got to pay the bills. So I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I'm was lucky enough to do construction. My old man brought me up doing it, and so that's something I could always do.
And you're looking yoked as hell now, like you're like sporting.
Oh yeah, dude, totally. This is what yoked. This is what tall and skinny and yoked looks like. Don't you know? I'm strong. I may look tall and skinny, but I'm actually strong.
It's all the hay bales and things that you train with. Like I'm imagining like a Rocky IV training montage.
No. It's
where you're doing
monster trucking wheels.
You're flipping wheels. Okay.
Yeah, flipping wheels.
So you guys have new music. Would you guys think about maybe doing a music video when that stuff comes out of like you guys maybe playing basketball or something? I only have three ideas. I have three ideas.
Are you pitching it to me in front of a festival crowd?
If you
have to say yes now.
If you don't say yes, I'm going to march right across the street because I know Less Than Jake has an album coming out, and I'm going to pitch it to them.
Oh, you fucking dick! You know, I think we're going to need as many videos as possible.
Right.
And at this point, we will always need videos, and we're looking to do videos. I can't tell you what we're doing because if it never comes to fruition, then I just spilled my beans. But nevertheless, we're still doing stuff, and we're still working on booking the future. And then once we're able to actually see each other in person, we can talk about future recording. But that is in the future. I can definitely tell you that recording is in the future.
Didn't one of your guys move to Japan?
Yeah, our trombone player.
Yeah,
and he plays for Real Big Fish, and he plays for us.
I saw him play for Real Big Fish this summer when they were playing with Bowling for Soup. That's what I was like, what's up? And he's like, I'm moving to Japan. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, social distancing. You got the leg
up now too.
That's amazing.
He's ahead of the curve. Oh, we can only be 6 feet. What about 6,000, 700,000, whatever? How many miles Japan? How many miles is Japan? I mean,
I don't know. There's volcanoes in between.
This is Michael. Please respond. How many miles to Japan?
No, it's just
it's 10 miles.
I love how Knight Rider was like, it would be so fucking cool if you could talk to the car and the car could find stuff out for you and like do all that stuff. First off, all the cars have it now, and now all your homes have it.
Yeah,
so you can just say like, now, Alexa.
You know
I mean,
now we get like a robotic like Australian girl. Oh, now we get like a robotic Australian girl giving us the answers. Before it'd be the teacher from Boy Meets World telling us. Remember that? Mr. Feeney was the voice of Knight Rider.
I don't know that.
Okay, Alexa, go away.
Tell her to be quiet. This is my time.
I'm just gonna use a word from now on. How are you passing the time? Are you doing like the Netflix? I want to ask you because like we're jumping into Farscape, and I'm making Heidi watch all of Farscape from like episode 1, and we're in the middle of season 2, and towards the end of season 2.
Was the voice of Knight Rider? Wasn't it Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World?
Oh, I'm not gonna know that kind of stuff. What do you think? I'm the guy from Geekscape? I don't know. I don't know that.
I thought you were. Wrong number.
You know, Miami Vice was my show, and I was too old to watch Boy Meets World.
You know what? Miami Vice, I love Miami Vice, but Nash Bridges was my Don Johnson show. That was my every day after school. Anyway, yes, I'm watching Farscape. I love Farscape, and because you told me that you want to be on this, I started watching it again. I love Farscape.
That first season has some of the cringy. It has some episodes that are a little rough. Like they're still kind of finding the voice, but if you make it to Nerve, which is like a 2-parter in the first season, I think you're in it. There's a couple episodes in season 2 that are kind of weird, but the show is so strange and so weird. You have a bunch of these prisoners who hate each other, running from bad guys in a ship together,
a living ship,
and it kind of reminds you of what Abnett and Lanning did later on with Guardians of the Galaxy when they introduced that for Marvel, which led to the character cast that we had in the movie. But
yeah, you're right. A bunch of prisoners. You're right.
There's a lot of Farscape in Guardians of the Galaxy as we know it. You know what I mean? Which is not the original iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that was the classic Guardians of the Galaxy. But
you're right,
dude. There's so much Guardians of the Galaxy in Farscape, and rewatching.
You're right. Rigel would, but would Rigel be like the raccoon?
I feel like. You have Zan, who's a living plant, and she has Groot elements to it, right?
But she was only there for like 1 or 2 seasons.
You have
and then the guy,
Dargo. So you've got Dargo, who's like the big warrior, he's very literal. So he's a lot like Drax.
Yeah,
right? And there's a bit of
and
like
he's very like Teal'c from Stargate.
right, and there's a little bit of Gamora and Shiana, and but really in Drex as well, like he and a couple different characters. But yeah, you got the warrior characters, and then you've got the human who's like stuck in it, who's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is all weird. There's a bunch
I'm not
of
even
aliens.
supposed to be here today.
I'm not even supposed to be here today. And so, we can do a whole episode talking about how Farscape and Guardians of the Galaxy. We just know Farscape came first.
But it's not even just that. It's also there's a formula that goes for all these sci-fi shows, because if you think of you got Stargate, not Babylon, which is my other
Babylon 5,
but the ones that have like the token guy leader, the sidekick woman who ends up becoming a love interest.
Sure.
The little snarky sidekick guy who's from another planet that has the little weird quips that somehow is very important on another planet.
Yeah.
And then you got the big warrior guy who's very literal, very serious.
Yes.
From a different planet and has, So there's like a formula, but
Yeah, Gamora would basically be Claudia Black's character from Farscape. Yeah,
definitely. I was actually trying to explain Claudia back to my dad. Like, who's this girl? Because I'm getting my dad to watch Farscape. I told him it was a Henson show. He's like, oh, okay, what's that? What's that? Who's she? I said, well, Dad, actually, that's Claudia Black. She actually does voiceovers on a lot of DC stuff. But I digress. She actually said, I was trying to explain how on the 100th episode of Stargate, because Ben Browder and Claudia Black went.
They ended up on Stargate. Yeah.
Farscape ended. Farscape ended. They went on Stargate, and on the 100th episode of Stargate, they did a Farscape flashback where Teal'c dressed up as Dargo.
I've not seen that. That sounds amazing.
What?
I haven't seen that.
God, I forgot who dressed up as Chiana. But yeah, they went through all these wormholes, and all of a sudden, like the 100th episode of Stargate was kind of like a jokey episode. So they went back. They all ended up dressing up as the Farscape characters, and they ended up in a Farscape episode.
What's amazing about that is that I missed it because when Farscape was canceled because Stargate was doing better. And Farscape was also shot in Australia. It's very expensive. It was Farscape was first.
Stargate wasn't Australia. Stargate was Canada.
Right. Stargate was in Vancouver. It was a cheaper show. It had a bigger fan base.
Yeah.
Farscape was like the older show. It was more expensive. It had all the Muppets. And when Farscape started getting canceled, and they did give it that movie there at the end, the Peacekeeper Wars, I was so butthurt that I was like, well, I'm not watching Stargate. and then Stargate had like 7 iterations that I was also like, I'm still not watching Stargate. And I'm not even going to go back and watch the Kurt Russell movie. I'm not a Stargate guy. But
it's so funny that you said
I missed a lot of cool stuff then. The joke's on me.
When I was watching Stargate, I saw Farscape. And that's the kind of one was on like channel 13 at like 2 a.m.
Right.
And you'd flip through it. It's like, I'm a sci-fi fan. I should probably watch this, but I only watch Stargate. I don't want to watch this. And
so you were like the counter Jonathan.
SQ1 and Atlantis. Yeah, and then I was like, well, shoot, there's nothing left to watch. I guess I'll give Farscape. It's kind of hokey. And then I got into it. And at that time, they didn't have like the little DVD box sets. The DVD set looked like this. And every case was like this big, unnecessary, and it was expensive. So it's like, that sounds like a lot of work. And eventually, I bought all the big discs. And now I love it. I've
got the Blu-ray set, and I've got the DVD set, and then this stuff is all on Amazon Prime anyway. So
it is everything. We spent all our time collecting all these seasons so we could have the collection and look at it.
Yeah.
And now we won't get rid of them because we want to look at it, but we'll watch them on our streaming. I need to look at it too.
Did you get into this habit during the quarantine? Did you get into this habit where you were like finding stuff online that you didn't need and you just started ordering it? Like I was like looking at like Rigel toys, and I was like, yeah, I could use a Rigel toy. And I don't care.
No, I didn't do that.
I don't care if it's going for $50 on eBay. I want a Rigel toy, and it shows up. It's like the size of my thumb, but I paid $50 for it.
I'll give you $70 for it. Do you really have a Rigel toy? Don't you mess with me.
We're gonna have to outbid each other for it.
The Aquabats used to share our warehouse with us, and they had all their like.
I remember
stuff in there.
But
before that,
when I had Christian on the show, that's when I discovered that you guys shared a rehearsal space.
When you what?
I had Christian on the show, and I had to drive to Santa Ana to have him on the show, and that's when I was like, wait, this is Suburban Legends practice space. You guys are thieves. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, you just cringe like, oh, these are.
Wait, this still smells like Brian Klemm in the boys.
I know. I gotta stop. So
didn't you guys have your yoga at the Gamma money? Why are you guys still here?
Why would you share it with these slums? Their warehouse originally was like a couple doors down from ours, and they were practicing one day, and I went over and said hi to Christian, and I think Crash and Ricky were there, maybe Ian. Okay. And I go in there, I was just saying hi, and then I was talking to Christian, and he goes, "Yeah, we did this with the Hensons," and I guess they did some work with the Hensons to get their puppets and everything made, and I saw a big like little plaque of Pilot.
Yeah.
From Farscape, Marvel's Pilot. Yeah, and I pointed to him like, "Oh my God, that's Pilot!" And Christian said, "You know who that is?" And I said, "I'm a big Farscape fan, of course." And he pulled it down. And he goes, "Okay, I have to tell you, there's only a couple of these made, and I've been saving this for a very long time." And I told myself, if I ever get rid of it, I'm going to give it to somebody who is truly a fan. And you're truly a fan. I said, "Oh my God, I love this show. Are you kidding me?" And then he goes, "I want you to have this." And hence the studio gave it to him. I don't even know if I should be telling this story.
Yeah, because it makes me hate you. Because you haven't.
I don't know what happened to it. It's gotta be.
Oh, do not say that. Brian Klemm, do not say that you lost it. You better swear to God.
I didn't lose it. No, it's in my storage somewhere. It's in my storage. Oh my God, no.
Where is your storage located? Because I can help you with clearing it and things like that for a very nominal fee
I'm just gonna type it
of a
right
Pilot.
It's at 1234 Fake Street.
Don't you tell me that you have this thing and you lost it.
No, and it's awesome. And he said there's only like 2 made, and it's a big bust of Pilot, and it's awesome.
How dare you, sir? How dare you, sir? I think you told me that story previously.
Why don't you notice my Lobo shirt?
Let me see what you got. You have a Lobo shirt that is based on the Frank Miller Wolverine shirt. That's very smart.
Chris Claremont.
Chris Claremont. It's Chris Claremont and Frank Miller. Yeah, Chris Claremont wrote it and Frank Miller drew it, and that's the cover of that Wolverine. I remember having that
because I have this giant framed Wolverine thing of this picture in my man cave. I have a man cave in my garage because obviously when you're a grown man of 24, you have to keep all your stuff in the garage.
Right.
And so, my dad's coming.
Okay. He's 42.
He'll say hi in a second. And so I saw this online. I'm like, oh my God, it's a Lobo shirt like Wolverine. I have to get it. Isn't that funny? Now that I got it, no one knows what it is.
Wait, for real? People don't know it's a Lobo shirt?
No.
Who is it that you're hanging out with, Brian, that doesn't know the geek references? I'm worried about you. I'm worried about your social circle.
Well, I hang out with a 2-year-old and my lady, and so none of them know who Lobo. And Lobo is my favorite comic character.
Did you marry right?
All time.
What's happening? Like, is everything going okay with you and the lady? Are you too geek for her? I see that you're like.
I can only leave it in the bathroom. I can only leave novels and stuff in the bathroom for so long before no one picks it up and cares. I mean, I have a 2-year-old, but I can tell him about Lobo. I actually bought so it's hard to find Lobo toys, and I've been Lobo. The reason why I started collecting 30-something years ago is because of Lobo.
Really?
3rd grade is when I stared. Yeah, 100,000%.
He's very violent, bro. He's very violent, and you're 10.
My old man's here.
And you're like, I'm so into this.
Hey, Dad, do you remember when I used to get Lobo
Don't.
comics? And then,
if you're gonna remove something, don't remove the one with the microphone. Remove that.
Okay. Do you remember when I used to get Lobo comics and you guys would take them from me because they had parental advisories? He smiled and turned. Okay, yeah.
Does he acknowledge that only made you worse?
What?
Like censoring kids from that stuff only makes them want it more. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And this is before the internet, and so I would get them and I'd hide them.
If he hadn't taken your Lobo comics from him, you would have been like, yeah, Lobo's cool. But he actually made him your favorite character because he denied him from, you know what I mean?
At that age, when you get a parental advisory CD, it makes you want it even more. You don't care about the content. You don't care if it's a good artist.
Do you remember what that first parental advisory CD was? Was it like
mine?
Yeah,
it was 2 Live Crew. No, it's either Too Short or Two Live Crew. I
Okay.
think it was Two Live Crew and then Too Short.
Okay. So tell me about the Lobo story. So I mean, I thought you were going to go into your love for the character.
It's so hard to find Lobo toys anywhere. And if you do, they're really, really expensive because they don't make a lot of them, because obviously he's not a popular character. And so I eventually, it's so, okay, so what is the DC for like toddlers? Not toddlers, but like maybe 4 or 5.
One of those DC animated things, right? Like there's like a,
they have for Joker and stuff, and it's like you could buy them in Target or whatever. I found one online of Lobo.
Right, I remember that toy. It was from a DC animated universe.
I just bought it, and I bought it. It was like $15, and it comes with this motorcycle and a dolphin and a dog.
That's so weird.
A dolphin fan, but yeah, it's not so weird. It's so cool.
And he's got the bulldog and everything with him.
Of course, and the dog's it's got a big wheel, his back real wheel, and then the dog sits in that.
And Brian, you know that like Hollywood got really close, and it was like ended by the strike. This is about 15. I would say that this is mid 2000s. That when they were talking about George Miller doing a Justice League, or they were talking about who was going to do the Batman versus Superman movie originally. It was like this was after the Nicolas Cage Superman fell apart. They were
that's way before that.
Yeah, this is like early 2000s, mid 2000s. George Miller was going to do Justice League, and that didn't happen because of the writer's strike. But at the same time, there was going to be a Lobo versus Superman movie that had a script, and that never. And happened.
The thing is that actually happened in the comics.
Yeah, and they were going to make a pretty
long time ago
movie about
Lobo
it.
Beat up Superman.
And I remember fans being like, "No, you wouldn't bring back Superman by having him in a Lobo versus Superman movie. That's not the way to do it." But ultimately, looking back, you're like, "Yeah, I would have loved that movie." Like, it would have been so years ago. We would have already retconned the freaking thing cinematically, and it would have been cool to just have a Superman versus Lobo movie or a Jack Black Green Lantern movie that was going to happen and stuff like that.
Wait! What? Jack Black and Green Lantern?
Yeah, way before the Ryan Reynolds movie, they were going to make a Green Lantern movie with Jack Black as Green Lantern.
That sounds like it was amazing.
I don't think that he was going to play the Green Lantern we know, right? But it was basically going to be...
Was he going to play Kilowog? Or?
No, it was just going to be a Jack Black comedy where he gets the Green Lantern ring. And
that would be funny.
And I forget who's the director that did like the Get Smart movie and came out of like the Chris Farley comedies and stuff like that. But a pretty big comedy director, and he was going to do this movie with Jack Black as Green Lantern, and that
would be awesome. That would have been so much fun.
I think we've talked about it on the show before, but just to refresh, it's basically Jack Black abusing the power of the Green Lantern ring, and as Mike Templeton in the
he's going to be Guy Gardner?
No, Jack Black says
Mike Temple just said as Guy
Jack
Gardner.
Black is Guy Gardner. The script.
You didn't have that bowl cut?
Yeah, the script did not have Jack Black as one of the Green Lanterns that we know. But all I know is at the end of the movie, the whole set piece was that an asteroid is like headed towards Earth. And Jack Black is like, okay, cool. I'm just going to move the Earth. So like his big thing is he's going to go into space, use the Green Lantern ring to grab the Earth and move it. And all the science, because he's like, the asteroid's moving too fast. It'll be too hard to catch the asteroid. I'm just going to move the Earth. And all the scientists are like, don't do it. You're going to destroy like our ice caps, and you're going to like destroy our orbit and our magnetic field and our atmosphere, and we're all going to die. And like, but he does it anyway. And like,
I got this.
Yeah, he's got it. And then suddenly there's like volcanoes erupting in the middle of the cities, and people are falling into the ocean, and the city, the whole planet falls apart. And he's like, oh my God, I just killed everyone on Earth. So he makes a Green Lantern construct of Superman to go backwards around the Earth, like in Superman 1, and reset.
That's smart. That's brilliant.
Yeah, well, yeah, as long as you're just crapping on continuity of an actual DC universe. And
well, of course, no, that's a fully what if.
So it's like a awesome, weird what if cinematic thing.
That's great.
He resets the Earth back to where everybody's fine and everything's good, and then he becomes the hero he's supposed to be, and he goes into space. And he catches the asteroid, and he deflects the asteroid from hitting the Earth, and everyone praises him as a hero.
Now, Now,
It's
is
a
that
script.
Booster Gold? Is that Booster Gold cheating, or
No,
because he created the problem that he's fixing?
he created the problem that he's fixing. So like the last scene of the movie was Jack Black kicking back by his poolside, and all these Green Lantern constructs of Superman like cutting his hedges and like bringing him lemonade and like cleaning his pool.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
good.
Yeah, it was a cool comedy idea. And at the time, of course, you just wanted like a Hal Jordan Green Lantern, and you wanted like a Green Lantern DC universe and all that. And you were like, no, I want the real one. And then we got the real one, and it wasn't really the real one. And we were just like, ah. But as Rick says, it would have made a damn good.
Yeah, but the one we got wasn't the one we needed.
I think what's weird with the Ryan Reynolds, Taika Waititi,
I was entertained.
starring one is. Yeah, I was entertained by it as a Green Lantern movie, and there were parts of the movie I really like. Like I love Oa, I love all that stuff. I love Kilowog. I love who played who's the bad guy in that? Who's not
Sinestro? No,
yeah, Sinestro. It was fucking awesome. Yeah. But ultimately, like the whole thing is his willpower. But it seemed like Hal Jordan in that movie didn't have any. Like his main problem was doubt. And Hal Jordan doesn't have doubt. Hal Jordan is headstrong.
You're not supposed to. He's not supposed to. That's the whole premise of.
That's his whole problem is that he doesn't have.
Because if he had doubt, it would fuck up everything he's trying to do with his ring.
Right. So they wouldn't have given him the damn ring. Hal Jordan doesn't get the ring if he has doubt. He has to be headstrong to the point of blindness. He has to be completely just full of himself, to which
it has to be second nature to think the way he thinks.
Which is a mistake, right? And like that's the training, and that's like why he has to learn to build constructs and actually, I don't know, think about other people and all this stuff, which they hinted at a little bit, like when he goes to like his nephew's birthday party and stuff like that. There were parts that I thought were really good. All the pieces were there to make a good Green Lantern movie. It was just that script just didn't work.
I was really excited too because Ryan Reynolds is good in everything he does, and he's ridiculously handsome.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't the Green Lantern movie that. Well, yeah, we all see a lot of ourselves in him.
Right, sure. Especially when he's all burned up like Deadpool. I was like, yeah, now he looks like me.
No. You look more like him from Can't Hardly Wait. Not Can't
Hardly
Wait. What is it?
While we're talking about our shirts, what do you think of my ElfQuest shirt?
I can't. Oh, dude, I used to read ElfQuest. I didn't even see that because it's like me saying, like, "Hey, do you like my Lobo shirt?"
And all I can see is your collar. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I grew up on ElfQuest.
Yeah. So, we got these movies coming out, and it sounds like Hollywood is reopening theaters starting in late July and August because Christopher Nolan will not be denied his IMAX openings, right? And he's got this.
Imagine that, like, I will not be free on.
He will not be denied. So he's got this movie Tenet coming out that I don't want to know a lot about because I just want to go watch it because Christopher Nolan makes these awesome IMAX movies, and at least visually they're fucking amazing. And you just got to be bowled over by them, and that's cool. So we then have Wonder Woman still kind of holding steady for August. So like,
it keeps getting pushed back.
Well,
it's done, isn't it?
No, yeah, it's done. But like, we got the Black Widow movie in November, but I read that we're still going to get that Wonder Woman by the end of the summer. We're still going to get Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure, like the third.
Whoa! Okay, wait. So let's just talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it because
is it done?
Yes.
Is it done?
Yes. These movies are done.
Oh, imagine being on set and watching Keanu get back into that character that he's been his entire life.
Or Alex Summers, like both of them get the credit. Like they both had to reimagine those characters and re-inhabit those characers.
But the cool thing about that guy is he's been off the grid for so long because
he
did real estate. He did real estate.
No, Alice Winters has been directing. He's been making documentaries and all.
But he's made a lot of money doing it, hasn't he? He's been done really well.
Alice Winters is a pretty awesome documentary filmmaker. He's done really well. Yeah, he's great. He did a movie on Napster that kind of started his documentary directing career, and it was all about Napster and that whole deal. That is pretty awesome, and he's done some really respected documentaries, and then now he's back in acting in the third Bill and Ted movie, and I'm excited about it, man.
God, I'm so excited about that.
But you were
a great
kid. But like you love all that hair metal stuff. You love all the Wild Stallion style stuff. Like to you, like watching Bill and Ted, like was that like your favorite movie growing up? Because it kind of was your level of ridiculousness with like the same kind of music.
It is. I love it, but it wasn't my favorite movie growing up.
What was your favorite movie? Splash?
I don't want to tell you because no, I love Splash. Hey,
Steel
you know
Magnolia.
what? Everybody loves Splash. No, I grew up in a house full of women, but I watched it plenty of times. But no,
Mystic Pizza.
if I tell you, you're gonna what?
Said Mystic
No.
Pizza.
No, but keep going. I want to hear what you think. I want to know what you envision for me.
In terms of endearment,
I want to know what you think of me.
I'm good. What was your favorite movie growing up?
Okay, you won't judge. I still love it to this day. No. House Party 1.
Okay, I can see that.
Cold face.
I can see that.
It's been my favorite. Planet of the Apes used to be my favorite movie.
Sure.
And then the Mark Wahlberg movie came out, and it was always House Party and Planet of the Apes.
Oh, the Tim Burton one, pretty not good.
Yeah. And if you watch it now without any expectations, it's fine.
No, the best thing about it,
it's okay.
I would say that Rick Baker's makeup on that movie. Rick Baker's makeup on that Tim Burton Planet of the Apes is Oscar worthy. It's phenomenal. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Script.
Yeah. And Paul Giamatti was great in it too.
Paul Giamatti was great in it. And who was it? Eric Roth or Tim Roth? The dude for amazing. Amazing as the bad guy.
But still, House Party still holds my heart. It still does to this day. I love it.
I probably saw Kid and Play's House Party once. And I cannot recall.
You're not doing yourself, then you should do yourself a favor. Go buy the trilogy. Go buy all 20 of them. They're like Land Before Time movies.
What?
They keep coming out.
Really? No, they're not still making House Party movies.
They made one about, I don't know, like 5 years ago.
What?
I think Kid and Play were in it too.
Yeah, but it's Kid and Play's kids, right? Like,
I didn't watch it.
I didn't have a house party. Wait, if you love the first one, don't you want to see the depths to which it sunk? Like, don't you want to wouldn't you attend the funeral?
Nope.
Come on, man.
Don't care.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You said
I'm like a fan that says I'll only listen to their first album. Everything after that. I'm just kidding. I own House Party 1 through 3. I love them. After that, number 4, 5, 6, whatever. It's okay. I think there's only like 5.
Well, okay, I can see that, but
it's still a franchise.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this.
About 5 years from now, they're gonna probably redo it.
I'm gonna say this. If you will take this journey with me, my friend, who's been my friend for almost 20, you've been my friend for almost 20 years. Will you take this journey with me if we can do a House Party movie marathon, but it includes the not glorious House Party sequels?
Yes.
We watch all of them. We gauntlet the mother. We have maybe 15, 20-minute breaks between each one. And we just how many are there? There's like 20. We just gauntlet hardcore a weekend of House Party.
They breed like rabbits. I'm sure there's a lot. And if you want to go even more deep cuts, remember the cartoon? I have Marvel comics. I have a frame. No, it gets good. I have a House Party #1 frame Marvel comics. How further you want to go, man? They had a cartoon, they had action figures.
No.
Yes. You brought it up. You said you want the marathon, dude. How much do you want the marathon?
No. Just the movies. We're just gonna do the movies. I would tap out so hard. This is what we'll do. We use the cartoons as the bathroom breaks.
Do you want to get tattoos?
No, I don't have a single tattoo. You're the tattoo guy.
But we can get House Party tattoos. That's how we get to solidify our friendship. That's how you do it.
I don't even acknowledge that I've seen the series. Like the first movie, I think I saw it. But no, I'm not getting a House Party tattoo. Will I get the haircut? Yeah, if it'll keep me from balding, I'll get the freaking Kid and Play kid haircut for sure, 100%.
All right, that makes sense. All right,
I'll get the hair.
But also we have to do the spinoff that they did. Oh God, it was Kid and Play did a spinoff.
What are you talking?
Yeah, they did a spinoff. Fuck me, I can't think of it because my synapses aren't firing.
I'm gonna give you 2
I've been kept out of school too long. I can't wait till school's back in session so I can go back. I mean, I'm still a junior, but I mean it's.
Kate Eglin says, "Live Geekscape tattoos."
Oh,
absolutely not.
Why not?
You can get a tattoo on Geekscape, but it's got to be my face. We have Geekscapists who've gotten tattoos. But it's the logo. So like, I'm all down for you getting the Geekscape logo tattooed. I'll just say,
that's so nice of you. Thank you.
Can get the logo. I'll get a tattoo of No, just tattoo my corpse when I'm done. Um,
I wouldn't mind that happening too.
and I'll let you. Here's my promise. You can tattoo my corpse when I'm done, and you can make a wallet out of the leather.
That's really morbid.
Did
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. What's your next question? I like this. I got my synapses firing. I'm curious.
Did we have questions? I was just saying that we should do a kid and play like marathon. That was the question. It was a suggestion. It was almost a demand or a threat.
Yeah, move on. Hold on. I got to make my dad do an appearance. Hi.
Hello, sir. How are you?
That's Wayne Klemm.
Don't call me sir. It's Wayne.
Oh, he said it's Wayne. Sir Wayne. Wait, can we do Sir Wayne?
Sir Wayne.
Sir.
That's Jonathan.
I know. I heard that.
You ever see our come back home video that Aaron's in? Okay, that he directed it. That guy right there.
Yeah.
When am I coming over for dinner? Is that what we're doing here?
All right, I left it there just long enough. Let's stare at each other for a second, just with no talking.
Your dad will be
just like
next week. We're gonna have Brian's dad on the podcast as the guest. We're gonna be talking all sorts of things, like how many times did he drop? How many times did he drop his son growing up?
Oh, Dad, how many times did you drop me?
How many times did I drop you
Yeah.
growing up?
Yeah.
Purposefully or not?
That's a throw, sir. It purposefully means a throw.
Probably not more than twice.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
By
And now,
accident.
but how high did he bounce?
You know, he back in those days he was a little on the chubby side, so he bounced pretty good.
Just
At
put
least a foot and a half.
Pays to eat good, right?
your first tattoo is
All right,
just Spalding because they made you a basketball.
My dad's going to go right now, so we're gonna go follow him and watch him change.
No, don't do that.
Okay, we're
Don't
not
do
gonna-
that, please.
We're gonna dry my beard.
Well, no, Dad shut me down too. I thought it'd be fun, but I guess you're just stuck
Don't-
with me. So
Don't do
whatever.
anything to F with the internet. Just keep your iPad right there.
Why did it freeze when I did that?
It just got a little silly. That's all it is.
We angered it.
Brian, I feel like you're getting restless. So next
I have
Geekscape, we got to do. Well, I think I do too. It's just never been diagnosed. But let's be honest. He got it from me.
Oh, you heard that, Dad? You heard that? I didn't even acknowledge it.
For fuck's sake, Geekscape has helped me. So Brian, next time we're doing Geekscape, we're gonna do it in person. We're gonna do it from the set of the new. What the hell is that sound?
Dad, can you shut the door? Yeah, he's got his hairdryer on. Dad, can you shut the door?
This is descending
Can you hair dry?
quickly.
He doesn't have any hair, and he's hair drying. You're drying your beard.
Oh my god. Okay, this is going south like our country right now. This is a metaphor, Geekscape.
There's people rioting outside.
There's people
You're drying
rioting.
Your beard.
Is this your bunker? Is that what you're doing here? Is this your bunker that you're hiding in?
Well, it was originally our Y2K bunker.
I think they're supposed to be
over there.
they're supposed to be underground.
Well, we're too
If
late.
you have a bunker above ground, it's pretty easy to spot. So
It's called a house.
Yeah. So Brian, we're gonna do the next Geekscape from the set of the music video for your new album. I'm excited about that one. We're gonna have a kid and play house party marathon when this pandemic is over.
Pinky to the.
Pinky swear.
No, do the pinky.
Right, we're doing the pinky. We're doing the pinky.
I don't know how to. Where's your pinky at?
And then, like, hopefully this Super Action Man thing that you did the theme song for, you and Vince did the theme song for. Hopefully that sees the light of day. I don't know. I'm working on it. Hopefully it sees the light of day, and you guys can have a little cartoon theme song. That'd be fun.
Park living at its best.
Trailer Park
Oh,
Living.
wait, my dad had to say. My dad had something. What'd you say, Dad?
I said trailer park living at its best.
Oh, my dad said trailer park living at its best. We're in a trailer, so
I know.
we're working on it. You didn't ask me anything about comics, and I feel like I didn't give you enough information. I apologize.
I think we're happy with your Geekscape service this time around. We talked some music.
Okay, good.
We talked comics. We talked comic movies. We talked sci-fi TV. We checked a lot of boxes on this one, Brian. I'm satisfied.
Maybe I have a lot of emptiness because no one wants to talk comic books or sci-fi with me. So it's a yearning. It's like, oh, cool. You want to talk about it? Can we do it for 4 hours? Because I have a lot to talk about. So I apologize.
Brother, you can call me anytime. You have my cell. You can call me anytime.
doing
I
later?
feel you can call me. You can
What
call
are you
me.
doing later?
I'm going to eat some enchiladas and I'm going to talk to you on the phone.
It's so weird. I'm actually making enchiladas for him tonight.
Listen, I'm going to leave you
Swear to
to
God.
it. I'm going to leave you to the enchiladas. But if anything happens with you or your band, I want you guys to come to Geekscape and promote it and talk about it because I want the Geekscapists to be listening to Suburban Legends. Okay?
I would love to. Hey, man, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I was so happy to talk about this stuff because I never get to. So thank you.
Call me in about 30 minutes and we'll just keep it going. All right?
All right, I'll take it. So
Geekscapists will not be privy to it, but we do have another Geekscape coming up on Wednesday with my friend Ed Greer. So Geekscapists, you're not going to want for Geekscape anytime soon. We're going to keep these things coming because you're in quarantine, or maybe you're not in quarantine and you're somebody who's like, I'm tired of quarantine. F it. And you're one of like the neighbors who's just like running around. You're like, no masks, no pandemic, no quarantine. We've moved on to looting and violence and all that, and they don't have to do it. So I don't know what reality we're living in, whatever your multiverse is. Brian, I love you, man. You come on the show soon.
I love you too, man.
But honestly, Geekscapists, as I said at the top of the show, whatever you guys are going through right now, Geekscape is here for you. If you want to start writing, you want to start expressing yourself, and you think, hey, the Geekscapists would appreciate it, yeah, come share it with us. Maybe we'll put it up on the website. Maybe we'll start a podcast. Whatever you want. I just want creativity, and I want you guys to be sincere, and I want you guys to know that you have an outlet. If you just want to come and hang out, well, we got the Facebook, we got the YouTube, we got the Twitter. We got all sorts of channels, and maybe you're watching this live on Twitch or YouTube or Periscope, maybe Periscope, or maybe our Facebook group. So whatever it is, just know that Geekscape's here for you. We're going to keep making this content for you guys. If you're watching this live tomorrow night, we got ourselves a horror movie night podcast taking on the live streams. And then, like I said, with Brian, comedian Ed Greer is going to be on Wednesday, and we're going to talk to him. He's a fucking hilarious dude. I think he's been on Geekscape. I'm not sure. We've been doing this a while, but I know that Ed is hilarious and long since should have been on the show. So he's coming back on Wednesday, and I can't wait to talk to him. Stay safe, please. Can you promise me that you'll stay safe? I hear you. I hear your cries. Please stay safe. Stay smart. If you guys need anything, let me know. Let Geekscape know. We're here. We're a community. And like I said, get your friends to register to vote. Like, let's start educating ourselves. Let's start now. Let's dig in if we haven't started already, and let's start doing our part as much as we can to push the system a little bit more towards how we want it, because it's obviously gotten a little bit off track recently, and we got to do our part to get it back on there. Because looking out our windows, it's like a movie. There's fires and destruction and all sorts of stuff going on, and we're under quarantine, and there's an evil virus, and maybe those spacemen who made it off on the SpaceX NASA launch, maybe they were the lucky ones, and that's where we want to go. But we don't get that choice. Not yet. We don't get just free space travel yet. So let's hang tight on this planet. Let's not give up quite yet. And let's do our part to, as Kate Eglin says, vote the fucker out. Okay? And maybe you're not in the U.S., but you have a fucker of your own. So let's vote those fuckers out too. And remember, the whole down party ticket, whatever change you want to enact, let's educate ourselves right now, starting in June and running it until the fuckers are out. There's the sirens. You guys know that I'm sitting here under a curfew, but I got you guys. Love you guys. I'll be back Wednesday with a new Geekscape. Geekscape forever. Over and out. Peace.